In 1846, after decades of haggling, American and British diplomats finally agreed on a border between the U.S. Northwest and what would later become Canada. Following the 49th parallel west from the Rocky Mountains almost to Vancouver Island, the boundary sliced straight across a peninsula that jutted south from Canada, leaving 4.8 square miles on the American side. Point Roberts, Wash, long prospered as an appendage of Canada. Its economy thrived on sales of gasoline, groceries and alcohol at prices considered a bargain by Canadians, whose frequent visits helped make the border station one of the busiest crossing points between the two countries. The 100 Americans and Canadians who lived here thought nothing of crossing into Canada for work, school or errands or to get to the mainland. Then on March 21, 2020, in response to the pandemic, UN Canadian officials abruptly closed the entire border to non-essential travel, squeezing the peninsula like a tourniquet. How? Point Roberts residents wondered. Would they see doctors or pick up prescriptions given that they had no physicians and no pharmacies? How could they get children to school once in-person instruction resumed, given their lack of classes beyond third grade? How would they take pets to the vet? Many families simply left Point Bob, as people affectionately called the promontory named for Captain Henry Roberts, a British explorer. When Brady and Lori Nelson realized their two daughters would not be able to attend their school in Tsawwassen, British Columbia, when it reopened, they moved to Spokane on the Washington mainland, where Brady Nelson grew up. The relocation meant that he would have to commute an hour by commercial plane to his job flying airliners out of Vancouver International Airport. Real estate was expensive in Canada, and the family preferred living in the United States. It was very tough because we left behind my father, who as our daughter's grandfather was very involved in their life, he said. As the population fell below 1,000, the town's 60 fuel pumps sat mostly idle. Most people had nowhere to drive to. At the Shell station on Tyee Drive, co-owner Chuck Laird learned to toss pizzas to serve to hungry locals. Sylvia Schomberg, a 90-year-old resident, played the organ at Trinity Community Lutheran Church until the pandemic shut down services. She said the stillness evoked memories of her childhood on a farm started by her grandparents, who were among the Point's original Icelandic homesteaders. As the population continued to shrink, it would eventually reach about 800. Neil Ingerman, the lone sheriff's deputy in Point Roberts, found himself with little to do. "I've gone a couple of weeks at a time without having a call that had to be handled in person," he said. When he took the job in January 2020, a transfer from Bellingham, Wash, a 50-mile drive through Canada, he never anticipated boredom.